In this video, let's look at Breyta AI. Breyta claims to do AI-driven qualitative data analysis. Recently, I have been reviewing products in the AI space, especially related to customer research and doing analysis of the feedback that we collect from our customer research. So this is one such product that I wanted to try. As you can see, I'm on the landing page here right now, and on the landing page, they have got few things going on, which is quite good. One is they have the demo on the right-hand side right away, and then they also have explained what it does as a product. So for example, here they have mentioned deep comprehensive answers in seconds, built to minimize errors, hallucination, trustworthy, scalable, etc. So essentially all your qualitative data that you have, you can just put it in there and get some insights out of it. So that's what I'm expecting out of this product so far. They've got some social proof here, customer names, etc. So that's all there, and I'm going to just skip through rest of the stuff and want to try this product out. So let's go ahead and see if I can log in. They do seem to have a 14-day trial period, so that's what I'm going to do and click on start 14-day trial. Now I'm in my logged in experience, and as soon as you log in, you get to see this dashboard. I have to note that this is a nice font to have. I'm not seeing this font regularly these days. Most of the fonts that I see nowadays are like that. So this is a nice, interesting font to see. That's something that caught my attention. What also caught my attention is the graphic down here. So seems like someone is trying to navigate something. So yeah, that's an interesting graphic to have on your create project page. Now what it says here is start getting answers to your research questions through creating a project. For the best experience, upload and analyze video and audio files. We then transcribe automatically for you. We also support text, documents, etc. Now, I don't really have a video or audio file. I would have loved to try it for that, but for this sake, I'm going to use some document. The thing that I'm looking for is how it can take my qualitative data and make it interesting. I don't know if it's going to make it quantifiable. I don't even know if it's going to simply give me insights, which are again verbose. So let's see how that works. So let's create project. So here I have got some explanation. So choose the raw data that you want to analyze. Files you upload here are automatically added to your data archive and can be reused in other projects. And these are the supported files for now. And what it says is a tip, that is, we work best with multiple files. So we recommend starting with at least 2. You can always add more later. Now I like how they have highlighted the tip in a yellow color here, more like a sticky note, and you can see that they have got 3 options here. One is upload new file, another one is get it from Google Drive, and then add a YouTube video. I don't have multiple files at the moment. I have a single file which I will show you. In this single file, what I have got here is 50 responses from the customer interviews. Now this could be customer reviews or direct interviews where I have taken out the actual quotes from the customers and I have put it over here, and that is a file I would like to upload. Okay, so the file is uploaded and I can see this as a task here, and we can go to done. Now it says start your project here. One thing I'm noticing here is there is a lot of text around when it comes to guiding you. So you do see that this text has been there in the first screen, then it was there when you were uploading files. Now it is there here again. All right, so let's say we have upload your files, create a research question. Breyta will analyze your content and provide insights with references, and need specific details, use the AI assistant panel to ask questions. All right, let's ask our first question here. All right, answers will be in English. That's a good thing. I don't know if they have any other choice for language, but let's go ahead and ask our questions. The feedback that I have collected is for an app that is into sharing photo or images. Now in the feedback, what customers have been telling is that it's very difficult to share images and there is something wrong with the share button. And it seems to be a major problem just by glancing at the reviews that the customers have given or feedback that they have given. And so what I'm asking now here is how many customers are complaining about the share feature. At the bottom, they do have some clear instructions on how you should be proceeding. So the question should be clear so that it's able to synthesize. Now this is pretty clear. So let's just go ahead and see how that works. So I will say add one question to analysis. And it's giving me the findings now. So how many customers are complaining about the share feature? My assumption is now it will go through all the feedback and try to find out the relevant feedbacks where the customers have complained about sharing aspect. They have a nice UX feature here, which is 6 findings from one file. So it tells you how it is working. All right. So here's what we see. Core functionality problems. Users consistently report fundamental reliability issues with the share feature. One user describes significant inconsistency, noting that half the time it does not work at all. And so they have given citation as to where they found this. The most concerning aspect of this failures is the lack of error messages. Technical failures, image attachment problems, and then rest of the issues that are also there. This is pretty good, actually. I can imagine a scenario where you're a UX researcher or a product manager and you just completed your interviews with your customers. After the interviews are complete, you'll have a lot of notes, a lot of video files that you have recorded, a lot of transcripts if you have got transcripts already, and now it will be your task to identify what is the most relevant feedback from there. The second thing that can happen when you're analyzing without the help of a tool is that you probably will be looking at it in a more biased way. For example, you are talking to a user about a specific feature and user ends up mentioning, let's say, 3 or 4 other issues which you do not care about at the moment, but they might be more important in the context of other researches that were carried out. So it's a very typical scenario where if you have a product team and there are, let's say, 3 or 4 product managers, these 3 or 4 product managers could simultaneously conduct researches. And when they conduct research, their transcripts and their user research can also come into the same location, and now what you will see is the patterns emerging. So for example, I am more concerned about share feature, but there are some people complaining about, let's say, image attachment problems or system stability issues, and the same problem could also reflect in another product manager's findings as well. And so that is where I feel we do not have that kind of crossover in a typical scenario, and this is pretty good. So this was a synthesis, and now I can see the findings here. These are the customer insights that I get in a more succinct and concise manner. Now, this kind of insight is so much better than going to this document and reading everything and trying to figure out. So that's what we have so far. Now, what we can also do is do a new project question, and we can now ask, these are kind of generic questions. So in a real world, you may not have these generic questions, but let's say, what are users saying about the app's design? And the second question goes at the bottom here. So you have a same thread for the same project. And as you ask these questions, they go at the bottom. So now if you see in the synthesis here, I can see there is a positive design elements, share functionality issues, discoverability problems. So it does say that overall design receives notable praise from users, which means the app probably does not have major issues. It's only the share functionality that might be suffering. What I can also do is copy this response, edit this question, or delete it altogether. I saw this AI assistant at the top here, and I would like to see what it does. Now in the AI assistant is where I have all the questions. So it has given me some tips here. So I can see I'm an expert UX research assistant who can help you quickly find mentions of a topic or a word. All right. So who mentions difficulties with share buttons visibility and what key insights are provided regarding app crashes? So let's go ahead and see what it does if I click on this one. Now, the way I think about these kind of tools is having a companion. When I worked as a product manager, I used to work closely with product designer and UX researcher. The UX researcher and product designers are heavily involved in the entire process. Once that research is complete, you now have to do the synthesis. And now you work with the UX researcher to draft the questions that you would like to have answered from the feedback that has been gathered. Number one thing you would probably do is categorize the feedback. You would want to find out, is this a new feature? Is this a bug? Is this a observation? What is it really? And based on that, you would like to label it, whether it's positive, negative, neutral, and it depends on whether you want to actually do this or not. There are teams that do not really believe in positive and negative feedback of a customer. Everything is just a feedback and then you just categorize it. So it also depends on how your company operates. Now, here is what has happened. Typically, what you would do is when you're brainstorming with someone, your teammate will ask you, all right, so who is mentioning this difficulty of finding the share buttons visibility? You know, what's happening here? And so you're trying to sort of use AI assistant as your companion here to brainstorm this. So this is where it starts to specifically point out, user 1 said this, user 2 said that, user 3 said this. This is quite actually helpful, having an AI assistant point out to specific things that you're looking for. Now I can use my AI assistant to go check all the files that I have uploaded. I do not have to visit them at all. And my questions can be more pointed. I could say, look for this file only, or look for this video only, and it can be more specific. Or I could also say, go across all the data that we have and tell me what are the most glaring issues in my app. I feel that's really brilliant to get your synthesis of the qualitative data. When I click on files, I see my files here on the side. The files also have its summary, and it tries to give you content type, it tries to give you participants. So participants number 50 is correct, but we do not have names for the participants. I label them as user 1, user 2, user 3. But if you have more information, this is what you would do: demographics, firmographics. You will try to understand your user base and your audience. And so that's what you get to see in the about. In the outline, you try to see what the main issues are, what people are complaining about, or what people are praising about. And then you get to see the actual content of that file. So the file itself becomes like a resource for quickly checking what this file is about. And so, for example, if you're a product manager managing a portfolio of 3 to 4 products, you are continuously doing research. Now, your one file could be about one product, or you could have like 10 other files where you have done research on separate features. And if you keep that as a repository here, you can now come to each file and see its own outlines. So from the very tiny experiment that I did with Breyta, I think it has done the job quite well. Right from the time I was trying to upload the files till the time it actually gave me the results, I can see that they have worked a lot to make your experience better. It is text heavy, but it does explain things to you in a way that you need to be explained when you're trying the product for a first time. I did not use the audio and video files. I wish I could do that, but I tried with the document that I had, and it did a brilliant job. It exactly did what I expected it to do. So this product seems to have a good use case, and if you're a UX researcher or a product manager, you should try this out and see if it works for your use case or not. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.